Talking it up on the Barry Gibb fishing report. Should I do the fishing report in Barry Gibb, in the Barry Gibb singing voice?
If you can.
If you can. Hey gang, Wheeler from the Ashland Fly Shop. Welcome back to the Southern Oregon NorCal Regional Fishing Report for mid-January 2020. Away we go. All right, Rogue River update. So we just kind of leave it alone a bit now. You know, as we get into kind of mid-January, you know, we still really, if you've been, keeping track of our reports and stuff, you're really gonna see a real similar thing. So we have some storms coming and going. We're getting snow like crazy right now, which is really, really fun this morning. But just a lot of little weather systems coming and going. This one should make a difference, I think, in the flows in general. But this time of year, you get out, poke around a bit. There's certainly still some summer fish around. We're starting to feel pretty guilty about harassing them at this point. It's kind of like let them do their thing. There's probably a handful of winter fish out there, but boy, they're really few and far between in the upper river. Of note, the little Applegate River is open, and that can be an interesting place to look for an early winter fish. Maybe I'll do a couple thoughts on that in this report too. But anyway, the upper Rogue flows are fairly stable. They've kind of come up down. Probably a little turbidity in the Rogue. Probably a little bit of color in there from some of the tributaries, but that's not going to hurt it at all. So still looking at around 800-900 coming out of the dam. Still looking at like 12, 13, 1500, down through the Medford, Central Point area. So good conditions if you're getting out and just kind of poking around. But as far as really looking for fish, we're really in that in-between time right now. So we don't really get out on the upper river too much at this time of year, just kind of FYI. That is what we are seeing out there now. Holy Water, that little trout impoundment below Lost Creek Lake, right below the dam up there, little trout fishery. If there's any time that the fish are going to be in a more dormant state, more kind of hibernating, this would be the time. Going to have the coldest water, coldest flows. You certainly could come into a little micro hatch of blueing olives. We've been hearing about that a little bit. That's a lot of fun. A little midday hatch would be a blast to fish up there. So take your dry fly rods, take your streamer rods. Again, it's just a little tough to get fish to move to a fly this time of year. They're just really hunkered down, but it's not impossible. And I think it is a decent bet for the area to go out and spend an afternoon kind of poking around the Holy Water. It's pretty nice up there this time of year. But wear your warm socks. It's pretty chilly up there. That's what we're seeing going on up there. Upper Klamath continues to be a good bet. I think it's still one of the stronger bets. The Upper Klamath still has that kind of month delay from the Rogue, so I always feel like it's kind of winding the time back a little bit going down there in the season. So I definitely still go down and poke around the I-5. This is the time of year that chunk of water between I-5 and the dam, Iron Gate Dam up there, can be pretty damn good. So it's a good place to walk in if you want to drive down the river a little ways. That's not a bad option as well. But even that water around I-5 and upstream can be quite good right now. So looking for something to do. I mean, we've been telling people it's kind of a long way to go to spend a full day or a couple days doing that. But if you're passing through the area, or it's definitely something to consider doing. But yeah, it can be a nice time. Flows are really pretty much pegged right at around 1,000, 1,900, 1,100 right in there. So it takes a fair amount to get that river going. Sometimes they'll do releases, so it's good to watch that. But this time of year, I think they won't be doing much of that. So Klamath remains a good bet for like late summer fish. That just kind of hold out in that area. So and maybe a few early winter fish in that stretch, but that can be a lot of fun in there. The coast is really the story. The coast is where a lot of our real fanatical steelhead customers are now, kind of, poking around, watching the weather, watching the flows. This weekend looks pretty interesting. They're getting really good shot right now, really good shot of rain, and we'll continue to for the next day or so. It's a pretty good system moving through. And it's going to raise the flows, and then they'll be coming down to a pretty nice level, I would say, on maybe a little bit on the high side, but through the weekend could be pretty interesting out there. So if you are looking for one of those really spectacular fish out on the Southern Oregon or Northern California coast, this would be a good weekend to go poking around. But we'll kind of keep you updated on the coast, but it's just a watch and wait kind of thing for kind of weather and water conditions to align. But reach out to us if we can help you with that in any way. We're happy to. North Umpqua is certainly a river to start thinking about as well. The North Umpqua gets a nice run of winter steelhead. Really cool place to go walking around this time of year, beautiful. And fishes pretty late in the season as well, kind of like the Rogue does, into that March and even early April window. So, so the North is a nice place to go. It certainly gets more fluctuations in flows than we do. That watershed tends to get hammered pretty good, like a magnet for weather. So they're getting a lot of snow right now. I didn't really check the flows this morning. But I would imagine they're fairly stable, maybe on the high side. But it's the North is a good place to go to swing a fly for winter fish. The regulations are a little looser. You can use flies with stainless eyes on them and stuff. So a little bit looser regulations for chasing those fish in winter. And there's some pretty special fish up there. So the North is a good spot. Should probably talk about the Applegate just a little tiny bit. It is open through March. It is a bit of a shit show out there. A lot of us that have lived around here for quite a while have given up on the Applegate a bit just because it's kind of a zoo. But there are some ways to approach it that can be interesting and enjoyable. But it's got that sort of small stream, good side, big steelhead sort of cachet to it. So it really attracts a wide cross section of people fishing it. So it's kind of a mystery to me, but yeah. But yeah, some really nice fish in there. So open through March. There's not a ton of public access. There's less and less every year, it seems. It's quite contentious. And if you're kind of veering off the public access, so don't expect to go like marching up and down the stream too much. But there can be some good fishing at the public access. Again, they're steelhead, so they got to move through those areas. So, but you can be really surprised by a very, very nice fish there. So if you want some info on kind of how to approach it, if you haven't been out there, we're happy to help with that. And that can be pretty good. Usually it really gets, can really get good in that last half of March, like the last couple weeks of March can be pretty exceptional. But there are fish in there from when it opens. There's a few early fish, but a really, really strong, winter fish return on the Applegate. Traditionally, it kind of varies year to year, but it's worth considering. So that's what's going on. That's what we're doing. It's January 15th. It's dead of winter, and still a handful of things to do in our region. If you want to bundle up and get out there, we certainly enjoy doing that. So if we can help point you in the right direction, please give us a ring. We're happy to help. As usual, we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you later.